What's going on, good people? We are back. Big Bills Mafia,
Yes, sir.
our first episode after a big,
Big dubs.
big dubs this way after week one. It's good to get the first one out the way. So welcome back to all of those that are listening for the first time. This is In the Zone with VNZ. I feel like we don't say that enough when we start off.
Not nearly enough.
Not nearly enough. But this is In the Zone with VNZ. I'm Val. That's my co-host.
Z, also
Z.
known as Cyrus, but also known as Z.
Yeah,
You know
man.
the vibe.
You know the vibes. I mean, if you don't know by now, we got all of our episodes are up on YouTube. You can also listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and I believe Anchor. So knock yourself out, catch up with us. This is our third season, and feels good, man. I honestly, we went through preseason, we went through all that, dusted our hands off with all the training camp. But man, it always feels a lot better when it counts. When it counts on the scoreboard. Bills, which we'll get into in a second here, didn't make it easy. But why would they?
It's the Bills we talking about, man. We couldn't have a completely stress-free Sunday. That'd be too easy.
Crazy. But we'll start from the pregame aspect. Obviously, for those who don't know, me and Z, we go to a number of home games, and we met up and linked up before the game. And for those who don't know, I'm rocking a shirt now. There was a You Got Moss segment. All right,
I didn't know they let you keep the shirt.
Yeah, he only handed out like 5 or 6, but there was a You Got Moss segment.
That. I should have grabbed one of them shirts.
Yeah.
I had the joints.
I wasn't gonna leave without one. Once he grabbed us first, I'm like,
yeah, it's a wrap. The
shirt it's tight. Yeah. But now we made a quick cameo that morning on ESPN Countdown. So for those who were watching and they seen some of my family members, including my guy Z, who was there, we were able to get in on You Got Moss.
So we famous, dog.
Yeah, man. It's always good that when they catch us in the act, especially when we don't gotta go out our way. It just worked out that way. Maybe Josh Reed might have nudged the guy to come back over to our lot, but hey, it never hurts to know a guy.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Shout out to Josh and his family who also stopped by. I know the baby of the family got to his first tailgate. But yeah, it was a lot of good action, man. Anything you love from just getting back to the motions, Z?
Man, listen, this being in the environment of the stadium, it's week 1, Sunday at 1, vibes was high, temperature was low, but we was good.
Oh yeah.
Food was good, drinks was flowing. Like, it's just nice to get back out there, man. The long parking is crazy nowadays, and this man, I'm parked halfway I'm damn near at Mile Strip, man. But just getting back in there. But even that long trip, walking up to the stadium and just feeling the energy, just watching the people tailgate, energy is through the roof, excitement through the roof, man. Like you can't beat it. Like, this is really just so much fun, such an enjoyable time of the year.
Nah, for real. And just to piggyback off that, like, obviously from our perspective, doing the whole RV thing for the first time this year, we stayed the night that night. That won't happen all the time, but we stayed the night, but just waking up, at 6 in the morning, you open up the blinds or whatever, you look outside, sun's starting to peek out, and you can just smell in the atmosphere.
You can just smell it.
Yeah, you can smell football is coming in a few hours, and then you start seeing people walking around 7:30, 8 o'clock. The cars are starting to pile up, and we got set up probably around 8 o'clock. I'm talking earrings being sold by my wife. I mean, she got a couple over here on the couch. Try to see if I can snag her to us, and then she working on stuff over here. But there was a lot of stuff going on, man. People was having these shirts hanging, earrings, necklaces, bracelets. Like you mentioned, the food, tremendous food. Shout out to our tailgate crew. You already know who y'all are. But the wings, the donuts, I mean, the shots and the hot tea and the coffee, like whatever you was on that morning, everything felt like Christmas. You know what I mean? If you're a sports fan, Bills fan, opening week is always like another holiday. So great atmosphere, great to get a chance to get on ESPN. I'm sure they'll loop that around all year. So if you ain't catch us on week 1, we will be most likely shown again. It happens every time we get on there. They'll use the same clip until motherfuckers is like 40. And we were like, oh shit, that's us. And we go. There we go again. So that was dope. But then we fast forward and we get to the action. First off, I'll break it down by the half. What was your thoughts on that first half, man?
Man, we just ain't had a ball, man. I'm just watching it like, yo, it's hard to get established, hard to get a groove. Arizona, I mean, that first half went exactly the way they would want it to from a script standpoint. They got the ball, ate it with a penalty or not, drove down, got on the board early.
Yep.
We come around with a, turnover shortly after that. And, another long drive, only a field goal out of it, but still another long sustained drive. And, next thing you know, it's 10-0. And shit, we already into the second quarter. Bills had the ball all of 5 plays, 6 plays.
Yeah,
so
man.
like it just like it was never a point where I was overly nervous. It's just like, all right, we need to get this game script going again so we can actually get the ball, start to re-energize this offense, re-energize this defense, and just kind of take the game over. But getting that score at the end of the first half, really was what stabilized that game. Because they, nothing that the offense was doing wrong. I mean, granted, it's a turnover we don't want to see. Josh getting hit from behind and fumbling, like, we can't have that. But
Right.
They were moving the ball, they just ain't have possession. So like that first half was just frustrating in that sense. Like, yo, can we just get the ball, get some points on the board? Defense were just, it was just James Conner running. That's what the threat was. And,
we talked about it. We said their game is really 3 people. It's Kyler Murray and his ability to move around. It's James Conner in the ground game, and it's Marvin Harrison, which we know he pretty much was a non-factor.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a lot of that in the first half, and I'll just add just a few more things because the first half kind of just came and went.
It was super fast. Like,
they controlled the clock, they controlled the tempo,
mm-hmm.
and like you said, we didn't get into a rhythm until the last minute and a half, 2 minutes of the game, and 2 minutes of the first half, we get that touchdown, which I will say that was probably one of the biggest drives of the entire game.
Oh yeah, for sure.
If you don't get that lead down to 7 by halftime, now you're talking about you going into the third quarter, you coming after halftime, it's going to be a mountain full of pressure to just make a big play. Right. And we all know when you feel that pressure, sometimes it's not the best to go into, and when you're entering that third quarter trying to kind of have that fresh start mentality. But like you said, from a first half standpoint, my only issue was really just the one turnover. But like I said, a strip sack is going to happen every once in a while. Now, you don't want those to happen every game, but the best quarterbacks sometimes get stripped on those type of plays. Great defensive play, but as many will mention, hey, we just got to not have any turnovers if we can. But this is the NFL. These guys get paid too. They get paid to strip. They get paid to make big plays, and that was a big play for them. But I always say, normally the good teams will settle in. They'll make adjustments and get to going in the right direction. So now moving on to the second half, man, what was your takeaways from how they bounced back, man?
I'll say it was nice to get that double dip, that touchdown into the first half and coming out first drive, touchdown again. Because again, you down 7, you score that first drive, tie game, completely new ball game. So being able to come out and execute like that third down, that 3rd and 10, 3rd and 11, that little dump off pass to James Cook, massive play. Because again, that kept the drive alive, kept the chains moving. So that was a huge play in itself. Just really seeing how many people the offense got involved. They were throwing everybody at Dalton Kincaid. Like, he was just bracketed all day, but they were still able to dish it. I mean, granted, I think Coleman had the most catches, only had 4 catches, but I think 9 different people caught balls. Like, it was efficient. They were moving the ball to a whole bunch of different people, no matter what, where they, bracketed their coverage, somebody was still open and making a play. So kind of just seeing that run game was they made a concerted effort to run that ball fairly consistently. There are a lot of times where they're knocking out 6, 7, 8, 9 yards a pop for a little bit, but they also had a lot of carries that were, 1 yard, 2 yard, or in the backfield. So, that's going to happen. Towards the end of the second half, Arizona really started, run blitzing a lot. And, I kind of wish they would have came off that run game a little bit, but, they stuck with it. James Cook, he was quick. he was quick hitting the holes. A couple carries that Ray Davis he was quick. Johnson, same thing. Receivers showed up. Dawson Knox with a couple catches in there too. So Josh was efficient as hell. He hit who was open. He didn't do too much running around except for when he needed to, and just got the ball into the hands of the playmakers. We actually got some run after the catch consistently throughout the game, which we haven't been used to ever in these last 5-6 years. Khalil Shakir is a dog.
Big dog.
The dog. Coleman come up with a big catch, a couple big catches. So I'm just like, all right, offense. Week 1, I'm not mad at you. Offense.
Nah. And I think, before I give it back to you so you can say who your star of the game was on both sides, which pretty sure we can kind of say who we'll probably agree on that as well. But I'll say my biggest takeaway in that second half was just the overall ability of Josh to be that point guard that we kind of talked about in the summer. Like, this was going to be a year where it's really just balance it out. Everybody eats, I know has been the mantra, but literally, I thought this would be the season that we really get to see Josh really play the point and distribute the ball like we haven't seen in maybe 4 years since he had 8-9 weapons back in 2020. Because right now, since you can't focus on one guy, and maybe Kincaid is the guy, so maybe you just focusing on Kincaid, cool. But now I can hit Knox wide open down the middle. Now I can hit Keon one-on-one. Khalil get a little bit of room. Boom, I can hit him. Oh, okay, there goes MVS down the seam. Boom, I can hit him one-on-one. Oh, there goes a quick pattern to Hollins in the red zone. I can hit him one-on-one. So I think now that defenses really won't know who to key in on, focus on, or what defense to play. Because in years past, last 3 years, it's been like, all right, we just going to do a little matchup zone, or we just going to bracket digs and whatever. Now teams are going to be like, these guys, can they really beat us one-on-one? So I feel like now it's going to put teams in a tough position because it's like, hey, we want to defend these guys one-on-one because they don't have a true game breaker. But at the same time, if we do defend them one-on-one, that's allowing Josh, when he gets in these key moments, to be able to break away and make a play. Because if you play man-to-man with a guy like Josh and you turn your back or you open up that middle of the field, he's taking that first down. Or if he's in the red zone, he's going to the end zone because guess what? He's just trying to win. And we can get into the debate later of how he should handle those situations, but he's a winner first. So if the winning opportunity is there to make that play because you want to match up, because you want to say, hey, I know my safety can defend Mac Hollins, or I know my corner can defend Keon one-on-one, cool. Just know if that's what your philosophy going to be, Josh is going to find a work around it, and he's going to be able to find somebody, whether it's James Cook, Ray Davis, Dawson Knox, Curtis Samuel, Mac Hollins. I can find somebody I can just get the ball out to quickly. And I thought he did that extremely well in the second half. And I felt like they were extremely balanced. Like you said, there were a couple 1 or 2 yard runs where you kind of just like, okay, can we get a little more? But then they also were popping out 7-yarders, 8-yarders here, a couple double-digit runs here and there. And then when they got down to the red zone, like I thought this year, I talked to somebody, I was like, I think this might be one of their best years in the red zone just because of the bodies that they got. They did what I thought. They got down to the red zone and it was like, yo, choose your battle.
Right.
If you want to lock up Kincaid in the red zone, cool. If you want to lock up Keon or press coverage, whatever you want to do, cool. But I'm going to have an answer for everything. And when all fails,
you got 17.
I got 17, and I think that's the tough part when you are defending this new Bills team. Is like when we get down the red zone, we got so many big bodies down there. Mac Hollins is 6'4", Keon Coleman 6'4", Dawson Knox 6'4", 6'5", Kincaid same thing, hella size. Oh, not to mention Curtis Samuel, he can catch and get in there. Not to mention Khalil Shakir can catch the ball quickly and get in there like he did. Not to mention James Cook, Ray Davis. So I feel like they have the potential, and it's early on, to be one of the best, if not the best, red zone team in the league. Because, if you look around the league, I don't know who got the height, the size, and the skill at the running back position to be able to do what they want when they get in the red zone. And then, of course, on top of that, you got 17, who, as he showed you, when all fails, hey, like what you're doing over there, you bracketed my guy, I'm about to take off and just jump over your safety.
All pro safety at that.
I'm just saying, not too many teams can just say that. You know what I mean? Dak
Yo,
Prescott.
bro, if I was, I would hate Josh Allen as a defender in the
That's
league.
what I'm saying.
Like, I would absolutely hate it.
Because what you gonna do?
You're not supposed to just jump over me like that.
Yeah, because now I'm gonna try to go up high next time,
and I'm gonna get ran over because you 40 pounds heavier.
Yeah, because he might stiff arm me like he did homeboy with the Rams or like he did the Dolphins defenders. Like Josh is such a reactive quarterback, which I love, is because what Josh is doing is just really just off his natural ability. Like he not thinking about what he about to do. He just reacting off of in the flow of the game. He gonna decide last minute what he gonna do. And I think that's what really makes it tough for the defender, because if you're Budda Baker, if you're any of these linebacker safeties, you technically don't know what is going to be his go-to move. We say the hurdle has been his highlight shit for his whole career because he does. He got 6 or 7 highlight reel hurdles in his bag. But then we've seen him juke people in open space. I mean, we've seen that in the playoffs multiple times. We've also seen him, like you said, run over dudes, linebackers, defensive linemen. You don't know until you get up close and personal. Right. And now you got to make a business decision. And now, since he's such a reactive player, he's reacting off of how you react.
Right. And I still feel like players are misjudging his speed, too. Oh, yeah. I mean, again, he's not the fastest, but I still feel like
Pittsburgh found out.
Yeah, like the people like they still take strange angles to him. I'm like, yo, maybe it's because he's such a long strider, but it's like, yo, when these secondary players take these angles, I'm like, yo, you about to get cooked.
You about to get cooked, bro.
You get stuck frozen. Or that's what happened a couple times. I'm like, hate to see it.
Hate to see it, but that's the guy. So who was your stars of the game, man?
I mean, defense left. Like I gotta go Greg Rousseau. Like I mean, he just 3 sacks. But the defensive ends in general, Von and Rousseau in particular, I mean, they did a great job holding the edge. I mean, Arizona kept running, stretch plays all day. Like they didn't really test the middle of the Bills' run defense at all. So, running those stretch plays all day, it really falls on the, defensive ends to really hold that edge and string it out towards the sideline. And they did a great job all day of staying disciplined to what they wanted to do. And especially with the pass rush too. I mean, you got such an athletic player like Murray back there. You can't just go all out trying to get that sack and trying to rush. So, being disciplined in there and staying in their pass lanes too, while still trying to force that pressure. I mean, I think the defensive ends had a great game. So, I mean, I would say Rousseau, if I had to split it on one person, but I would definitely throw Von in the mix too, because he showed flashes of being Von Miller.
Right.
He had a couple bull rushes out there that we haven't seen in a couple years. I'm like, okay. So one is showing that ability is still there too, but you trust in that leg, which is even more important because, last year it's obvious he wasn't. So, I would say those two. Cam Lewis, I would have to throw in there too. I mean, my man balled out, especially in the second half to come in. I mean, Taron Johnson hurt his first drive, and you got Cam Lewis coming in, being the backup nickel. I mean, he did some safety snaps when they went to the dime look. Like, I mean, he did some of everything. UB, shout out. But Cam Lewis,
guys at that.
Yeah, Ingram stepped in when needed. I mean, again, he was playing safety in that dime look. Getting Dorian Williams off the field, bringing that third safety in, and shout out to Ingram for being able to be that backup corner, but also coming in and playing safety too. So just that versatility that secondary brought in general. So shout out to those guys too. I mean, offensively,
if you think about it, they only held them to 3 points in the second half. I mean,
and I was gonna say that too. The only points they scored was just a kickoff return and a field goal. So defense really clamped down in that second half and really turned the tides. I mean, they turned the blitz up a lot in the second half. Which is something that you really don't see against Kyler Murray too much. But I mean, I heard they blitzed at about a 40% rate in that second half, which is high, especially for a Bills defense too. So, they weren't afraid to make that adjustment and say, all right, shit, fuck it. You making some plays, let's light it up. Let's see what you're going to do and how quick you can make that decision. So, that defense definitely turned the page. Offensively, I'd say it got to be Josh by just by letter of the law, man. I mean, 220 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, passing, 2 rushing touchdowns, complete command of the offense from start to finish, never looked out of place, never put the ball in harm's way while passing, super efficient, took what was given to him, wasn't afraid to hit the check down. I mean, he had the type of day that, you really want to see from a quarterback, just complete control, moving around in the pocket looked great, scrambling when needed. So shout out to Josh. Shout out to Keon Coleman. First game. 4 for 51, nothing to sneeze at. Not a bad showing for your first outing. Hell of a catch on the sideline.
I'm about to say you got your first big one out the way. I know the next one is going to be touchdown. That's going to be the big one to circle. But yeah, you got your first NFL big time, 25, 30-yard catch.
That's what you're here for, dog.
Exactly. Jump ball. Go get it.
Yeah.
And he did it perfectly because he got both feet in bounds. Then it seemed like it took him much effort. It was more so the DB just kind of like, okay, I did everything I could do.
And it was actually really good defense.
Yeah.
It was just a better, that cornerback was able to get him to the sideline, shield him off well. It was just a great perfect throw and a good catch. Like, you just tip your hat. That man ain't nothing you can do.
Good luck.
Defender played it perfect.
Good luck corners. Because I'm saying right now, Keon going to have a lot more of that.
And there's still room to grow.
For sure.
Because even on that route alone, he took that outside himself a little bit wider than you want. But once he can actually really learn the nuances of the receiver position and start to work that out, I think he's going to make these plays even more frequently. Because Josh had to put a perfect ball in there, but once he learns how to kind of run those routes a little bit cleaner and give Josh's margin for error, increase that a little bit, I think you'll start to see even more plays made by him. But yeah, he gonna be a dog.
Yeah, and I look forward to too, even on plays like that, where when he can get ahead of the corner, because if he can get ahead of the corner on that route and position himself, that's either pass interference because the guy trying to work his way back into that, or he making that catch and going another 10 yards into the end zone.
Yeah, and he drew 2 pass interference penalties too, which is huge.
I know, and that's why, because I've done that. It's funny because sometimes they say Madden don't translate to real life. Sometimes it do. I've done that with him playing at Madden where I'll position those go routes or some of those routes 20 plus yards and the defender is really trying to fight him so hard that it just becomes pass interference because they God, you big mug. I'm trying over here, but it's tough because when you're a big body dude like him, 6'4", 6'5", 220, and he's so good at being able to position himself in those situations that as a DB, you have no choice but to be touchy, grabby. So I think that's going to be so huge for us down for the rest of the season because there will be some key calls that get made just off of him just being who he is and him fighting for the ball. Refs are going to have no choice but to call it. So I expect at least, if not one of those a game, I'm saying one every other game where I see him drawing a penalty. It's just his skill set and his natural ability to position himself perfectly. I see that going to be a thing. 2 underrated guys I'll give because I figured you would mention, of course, Greg and Josh. 2 underrated stars I felt like of the game was Khalil Shakir and Deion Dawkins. I feel like Deion, just for a couple key blocks down the stretch, on the Khalil Shakir, obviously touchdown.
With the pancake block out there.
A big pancake block. Then he had another one in the game, 2 in the middle of the field. I just feel like Deion is starting to really embrace the role as the sole protector of the offense, not just Josh, but if you're a running back and you need a big block to break you off, Deion got you. If you're a receiver and you need somebody to lead the way, Deion got you. So I just want to give hats off to Deion because he is starting to become that enforcer on the line. And I feel like every good to great offense needs a lineman on that line who can just be like that bully. And I think Deion is starting to really embrace that. And you can tell by, when they speak to him after games, before games, he's embracing it too. He I'm the protector. I'm the shield. I'm the bully. And as goofy as he can be, as fun loving as he can be, I love the fact that when he gets on the field, he really trying to take your head off. And you need that nastiness. You need that. When you got a guy like Josh running crazy, when you got running backs like Cook, and Davis, you need guys they can run behind and feel total confidence that, this guy going to at least give me 5 yards if I run behind him, or at least get me into the end zone. So shout out to Deion Dawkins. And then Khalil Shakir, for me, it's just continuing to show that run after the catch, the knack he has for bouncing off guys.
Yeah, his contact balance is crazy. It's just a little bowling ball, man.
Yeah, it's stupid because it used to be okay, you see every once in a while. And we know, watching college tape from him, he was a great guy when it came to making plays after the ball was in his hands. But now to be able to do it at the NFL level, because we always say it's one thing to see stuff in college. You watch highlights all the time. It's like, okay, cool, do that in the NFL. Now we're starting to see him consistently do it at this level. To me, that makes me smile because I'm just like, cool. Now I know I got a guy in the midst of a game, 2nd and 7, 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6. I know I got a guy who can go catch that ball, but also get the yards needed to pick up the first down. And shit, if we down in the red zone, go in there and get that across the goal line. So we don't got to worry about no 1st and goal at the 1. Nah, this guy going to go ahead, dive, do whatever he got to do to get it in the end zone. So shout out to Khalil. Glad to see him in just 3 or 4 catches show that he still going to be that guy who we can rely on to make the extra play to provide that spark. So
yeah, I'm happy you mentioned Dawkins because I was gonna bring him and Spencer Brown up because I felt like both tackles had a great game. I mean, some of the reasons why Cook and Johnson and Davis were able to get such success is because those tackles were just mauling people over. I said, oh yeah, y'all playing some bully ball out here. Like just even like Brown and Dawkins. And it's nice to know like now with Brown getting that new contract, your tackle's locked in.
Yeah. For
like
next,
you
next 4 years, you good.
Yeah, you locked in. So like just having that consistency and seeing Spencer Brown go from a 4th or 5th round pick, who was your biggest question mark coming into the season last year, to now being a stalwart on this offensive line. Like you're not wearing anchors. And you are getting better each and every season. Like, yo, I think for him, I think the sky is the limit. Like, I think he still has even more room to get better.
Day 3 pick right there.
Right.
And it's not the first time. We say it all the time, like for the love that Bean get, but then also the slander that he get. We have now seen it happen multiple times where a day 2 and a day 3 guy has gotten a big extension. It started with guys like Milano and those guys from a few years ago to now you seeing Spencer Brown. And I know Ed Oliver's a 1st round pick, but we saw Ed Oliver get his money, AJ Epinesa get his money. It's just so many draft picks now we seeing getting a bread just because they worked hard and they've just developed them in a great way. So it's a shout out to the coaching staff too of taking these guys who have a high ceiling and just maximizing their potential, because like you said, he's just really scratching the surface. Because I think around the league, does he get love? I don't know, but I think right now he's starting to get into that where people paying attention. Like, oh, they got that
name recognition.
They got that 6'7", 300-pound dude over there. He ain't nothing,
athleticism through the roof.
He ain't nothing to sneeze at.
Like you get off the bus, you're like, oh,
yeah, man. He got that basketball background too, so he just got that natural, just ability to bend and just being able to react. And we talk about how basketball and football kind of work together a lot. That's another case right there where it's like when you play an offensive tackle, you look at how long Jason Peters lasted in the league. That was off of pure athleticism. Like this dude came in as a tight end, undrafted with the Buffalo Bills, and was
300-pound tight end. That's right. Crazy.
And was able to, transition into an all-pro tackle for 20 years. So like
Hall of Famer.
Right. So if they can make listen, I'm not saying he gotta be Jason Peters, but if Spencer Brown can be another one of those stories for the Buffalo Bills, I'll take it. Because like you said, that means for Josh's remainder of his career, he can potentially have a guy that's locked in as his tackle. Same thing with Deion Dawkins. I know Deion Dawkins is older, but for the next 4 or 5 years, you locked in over there at the left tackle spot too. So as you said, shout out to them. But as most folks know, without further ado, y'all, it's Fins Week. It is Fins Week, and honestly, when this drops, it's gonna be Fins Day. So we gonna get because it's a short week, y'all. So that means that we got to get right to it. There's no blinking too much. And I'm sorry that we even spent 30 minutes on the game, but obviously we had to get and tackle week 1. But it's week 2 now. And for most of y'all who are listening, it is game day. So we're gonna get right to it, man. What are you most excited about? And we'll get into what we may be nervous about. I know we got some injuries, but what are you most excited about with this matchup, man?
I mean, I just want to continue to see how this rivalry continues to evolve. Because, for years, I mean, from a record standpoint, it's still been pretty one-sided for the last handful of years now. Buffalo still has the majority of the wins, but, truth be told, each game we're getting closer and closer and closer. So like
Yeah.
just having these two teams going at it now, just on a consistent basis. Both teams are good. Both teams have had relative success. So just kind of seeing them go at it again is just going to be fun to see. I'm looking forward to see what this new defense has in store for Josh and vice versa, because Josh has still historically had a shit ton of success against the Dolphins. They still have not found a way to stop him. Right. So, a new look, no more Christian Wilkins. You have a new defensive coordinator. So you got some new guys, but you still got, Holland and Ramsey on the back end. So you still got some guys for sure. Right. But, what do y'all have cooked up for Josh? So I just want to see what that matchup of this new look Bills offense versus the new look Miami defense. That's kind of what I'm looking for the most. Just that chess match between those two positions.
Yeah, and I'll piggyback off that. I mean, the rivalry thing and just the way that the games have kind of intensified the last two seasons.
For sure.
Because you give Mike McDaniels credit. I mean, he came in there with a new swagger, with a new confidence that he was able to put into Tua. And for as much slander as Tua gets here in the Western New York area, the guy is still a top 10, top 12 quarterback in the league, because he is good at what he does. And we always talk about guys maximizing their skill set and their talent. He's the epitome of that. He knows that he's not no Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes. But what he can give you is accurate throws. What he can do is read that first read like a motherfucking monster. He's one of the best in the game at dropping his foot back and letting that ball go on time, which we know it can be pros and cons to that. Because if you got to pull it back down and go to your second or third,
might be a wrap.
Might be some issues. But at the end of the day, Tua is a talented quarterback. We know about Tyreek Hill, which we can get into his situation in a few minutes. But we know about what they got with Hill, Waddle. I know they're going to be down potentially 2 running backs, but I heard from the grapevine that they still may be able to throw in their rookie wide receiver, Jalen Wright, and he can throw some speed out there on the field as well. But this is a talented offense. And I think the battles that you've seen now over the last couple seasons just show from a talent standpoint, they right there with the Bills. And for this particular year, they I'm not looking at their roster 1 through 53 right now on paper, but you could argue they have a more talented roster top to bottom. But guess what? Does that matter? It can, because what we always focus on is during the game. No, can you make those proper coaching adjustments to maximize the players that you do have that's available? Because right now, with 1-7 on our team, as long as he's on the team, we still probably going to be able to do what we got to do with them. And I think that's the toughest battle for them. So I'm looking forward to the Josh Allen versus Miami's defense, and then vice versa. Miami's high-powered offense versus our new-look defense, without Aaron Johnson, without possibly I think Smoot is out. So, like,
yeah, Smoot is out. Solomon's probably gonna be out.
Yeah, so
Aaron's already out. I mean, this is gonna be the first real test of what this defense has. I mean, no more Poyer, no more Hyde. So what do these secondary look like against the speed that Miami has?
They did a great job against Harrison. I think they did a great job against McBride, the tight end, and even Kyler Murray for the most part. I mean, they let him go off for one half. Second half, defensively, we made the adjustments, and that's why I think. And I'll get your thoughts on this. That's why I think it's really going to come down to coaching, because both teams are going to be without some key players. I'm not sure if Ramsey is going to be 100% out there, but I know he's dealing with a hamstring issue.
Right.
So Phillips got some stuff going on. So, like, both teams is kind of semi missing a couple key guys, or will have some guys limping around. We know Josh Allen and his left hand situation. So, like, to me, it's going to come down to coaching, man. Who's going to make the proper adjustments throughout the game, because this matchup, like you said, is pretty even. If you're looking at paper, just going player for player, and even if you go player for player, you might say Miami has the edge, but again, 17.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it boiled down to at the end of the day. But it's going to be a big challenge, man. We've always, I'll say historically, I think outside of one playoff game, has done a good job of keeping Tyreek Hill
in handcuffs? No, I'm playing.
Yeah, I wanted to use the right words, because it's never been handcuffs, but he's never went off except for the one playoff game with the Chiefs. Like, we've always kept him handful of catches, 50 yards, something that, you got a couple catches, but you're not hurting us.
Right.
But Waddle has been the one that has been putting up, a couple big plays over the last 40 years. Even Achane has, broke off a couple few runs and a couple big passes. So the speed that this offense brings is really going to test what this defense has, because again, I feel good at corner, like from a quality of talent standpoint.
Oh, we great.
We have a very, very top end cornerback room.
Yeah, one through five, and I know Taron Johnson is out, so maybe I'll just say 1 through 4. But like 1 through 4, I'm confident.
I think they feel very good. But what we still don't know is how these safeties hold up with this. Because again, we still don't have the fastest cornerback room, but they still been good enough to still keep the top in place and not allowing the 70, 80 yard pass. But this offense is going to test you. And they tried it in that last game of the season last year, and Benford came down with a pick on that first drive. So they gonna test you.
Yep.
And I'm excited to see how the Bills hold up. And can the Bills up front disrupt Tua enough to get him off that first read?
Yeah, and just to piggyback off that right there, I think that's the key. I want to say the safeties versus the wide receivers and guarding that 25, 30 yards down the field. Mm-hmm. But I really think it starts up front with
100%.
With Greg Rousseau, Ed Oliver, Von Miller, even Daquan Jones.
Yeah, how much hell can y'all cause up front?
Because we all saw the games in the last 5 years when the Bills dominated that line of scrimmage against Miami. They were able to beat them by 3-4 touchdowns. The games that went closer, sometimes Miami was able to dominate the time of possession or was able to keep drives alive. But anytime the Bills have been able to win at the line of scrimmage, like I think last year in that last regular season game, it wasn't about the line of scrimmage. I think it was more so about Bills coming up with key plays at key times. Deontay Hardy's punt return. You mentioned Christian Benford's interception. We also know about Josh Allen, his key first down runs towards the end of the game. And I think Stephon Diggs had a big catch in that game late. So like it was more so key plays in that last game versus like the actual defensive line dominating. So I need the defensive line in this game to just come out same attitude, same mindset that they have used in years past. It's like, guess what? We know this guy gonna get the ball out quick. I mean, if he takes 5, 6, 7 step drop back, cool. We'll live with that because we want to believe that in 2 seconds we can have a hand on him or around him. But for those quick passes, I just need to have my hands up and I need to be having his lineman at least blocking his vision. Because we know Tua's not 6'5", he's not 6'6", he's not 6'7". So if I can't get to him, I need to be able to interrupt his vision. And I think in the years past, especially I think back to the game 3 years ago, maybe when Greg Rousseau had 2-3 sacks against him and took him out the game, it was because in that first half, that first quarter, they just was getting in that backfield quick and in a hurry. So like if I'm looking at this game, knowing, like you mentioned, the unknown with the safeties, oh yeah, I'm really bringing that pressure. And like I said, hey, if you want to bring an extra man, cool. You can rush Terrell Bernard. I don't got no problem with that. I know Terrell Bernard is probably with Milano gone. He's not probably. He's our best blitzing linebacker.
I think he is even with Milano in the matchup. I think that probably is one of his attributes.
So whether it's using him to blitz, whether it's Shucks. One of my sleepers of being active this week is Cole Bishop. I think Cole Bishop has a shot to play this week, and he might have a role similar to Jamarcus.
I think he got more than a shot because you know what? I feel like in the moment with Taron Johnson getting hurt, what they did, bring Cam Lewis and bring Murray in that.
You had to call an audible with Murray.
Yeah, in that. But with the week to prepare, even a couple of days to prepare, with Johnson out, I feel like that third safety role, that is a perfect spot for Cole Bishop. In this point in time, or Mike Edwards. Well, no, either not Mike Edwards because they really didn't even use him that much.
Yeah, so, he was on special teams most.
So this is more of a role that I think you might expect to see Cole Bishop in.
I think so too, and we can talk about this more. But like Cole Bishop is that guy who you literally drafted him to be that flex safety. Where hey, even if we don't use him to start at safety this year, we can throw him in key positions against opponents. And just be able to guard the tight end with him, guard the slot guy with him, blitz him in key situations. So I think Cole Bishop might be the ultimate wild card this week if they do decide to activate him. Because guess what? It's so much unknown with him that only Babbage and only McDermott would know. Mike McDaniel don't know what Cole Bishop is bringing to the table. I mean, he can go over a little bit of tape, pull up some Utah stuff for them to go over. But if they see Cole Bishop line up at the line of scrimmage on Thursday, they can't really say like what he gonna do. They can't really say, okay, 24 in the game. He could be blitzing. He could be matched up against Waddle. He could be matched up against whoever, the running back. So, like, I think, and like I said, I'm going to trust Babbage and I'm going to trust McDermott on this. I think part of the keys to this game is going to be how do they play their safeties in that nickel position? Because with Taron Johnson out, we know Taron has been a monster against Miami in the years past. Like, him and Milano, like having him and Milano out, number one, already knocks us down. Excuse me.
These are probably the two most important people in our defense.
Right. And they've had such great impact against Miami in years past. Like, I can just off of just thinking alone, I can think of 2 or 3 key plays both of them have had against Miami in years past. So not having them is, that's a blow. But again, this is when coaching matters, because if I'm down a player or two, I got to make that up with coaching. And I got to make sure I got the next man ready. That's why I give tons of credit for Cam Lewis and Jamarcus Ingram being ready, because it's like, that doesn't happen on every NFL team. You know what I mean? Most of the time, next man up, he might have halfway looked at the assignment for the week, and now he out there getting torched. But I think that hats off to them for being ready, but that's coaching too. You got to coach your guys to, at any given moment. Once you put on that uniform, I need you to know. But honestly, it starts with the preparation from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And on a short week, you know what I mean? This might be a tough task for a rookie, but guess what? He ain't played last week. So now, guess what? You done had full rest. You damn near ain't touched the field in like 5, 6, 7 weeks. So, like, this might be your welcome to the NFL moment, and how will you handle that? So I think you brought up a great point. What do we see from the Bills defense in the absence of Taron Johnson? It's really going to be a thing to see. But I know we're getting a little past 40 minutes, so I want to kind of dive into what is your favorite matchup of the game, and then we'll kind of slowly work our way towards predictions.
I'll say in general, it's going to be, it's not even players. It's going to be Bobby Babbage versus Mike McDaniel. I feel like it's going to be a nice little fun chess match to watch. Just
I like it.
What they're doing. Because again, even this early in the season, there's still not a ton of tape on what this offense and the defense looks like, just because it's week 2. I mean, preseason, you're throwing out a whole bunch of vanilla stuff. Week 1, you're throwing out some stuff, but it's still matchup based. And early in the season, I know these teams still got something cooked up specifically for this matchup that wasn't shown week 1. So how are these coaches going to adjust, to what they're seeing on the fly? So for me, it's just kind of like that chess match between the coaches. So defensive coaches on Buffalo versus the offensive coaches on Miami.
Yeah, I think that's a good point to bring up, because I don't think many people will talk about that. It's a short week for even people who talk about the Bills to really kind of give great breakdowns. But yeah, Babbage versus McDaniel, I love it, because young coordinator in his first year calling plays versus a young mastermind in Mike McDaniels, who's found great and creative ways to get the most out of his talent. So I gotta agree with you there. I think I'm gonna try to go a different direction. I'm gonna say the old faithful Josh Allen versus the front seven of Miami. I think that it will be a chess match most of the game, because I feel like, again, what we saw last week was a little mixture of man-to-man versus zone, but I think it was a lot of man-to-man that the Cardinals played. So I think figuring out what Miami may do differently, just because this is a new Bills offense, I think that's going to be the chess match that in the first half is going to be fun to see, because it's going to be like, hey, how are they going to guard a team with no true number one receiver? Are they going to still focus on Kincaid, because that's what Arizona did? Are they going to focus on stopping the run? Maybe they say, hey, guess what? James Cook is going to be the guy that we focus on. Let's just stop the run, and let's force Josh Allen and his left hand or whatever he got going on. Let's force him to just throw the ball 50 times. So I'm excited to see how Josh Allen performs, because we know the history. Multi-AFC Player of the Week versus Miami.
Multiple.
Fresh off of 4 touchdowns. He in his MVP bag early, and it's only been 1 week. But we also know in the bright lights too. Allen loved the bright lights. You know what I mean? He's had some of his biggest moments in prime time. So I'm looking for Allen versus that front seven. Just how he plays the mind game with him. Because, like I said, this is the year of the point guard for Josh Allen. You'll see me reference it several times. This got to be his Chris Paul year, where he just says, "Hey, I'm gonna be the best point guard in the league. When it's time, I'll get a bucket when I need to." You know what I mean? We've seen Chris Paul in his prime. Shit, if I got to pull up with the 18, 20-footer, I can knock it down. Don't give me space. I'll knock it down off the pick and roll. But for the most part, I'm throwing lobs. I got Tyson Chandler down there. I got David West right there in the post. You know what I mean? I'm bringing it back for the people who don't remember CP with the
David West was an animal in that offense.
Yeah, come on.
You talking about bully ball.
Yeah, people ain't going to get that reference, but it's okay. I know I got some basketball fans, but like when Chris Paul was in his prime, he could facilitate that ball so well. You didn't know where that ball was going to. You know, I'll update and go to the Clippers, whether throwing to a quick pass to JJ Redick on the wing, or he was throwing a lob to Blake, throwing a lob to Jordan. You know what I mean?
Blake.
Yeah, getting that ball over to Jamal Crawford when he needed to. So like Josh is gonna have to be the ultimate point guard, and it's going to be a mental battle. But if I trust anybody else to beat the Dolphins in a battle of matchups, this is my man Josh Allen.
And I mean, I feel like for me, this rivalry is at the point of I won't really believe Miami can beat the Bills until they do it. So yes, they do have a win in that Heat game last year or 2 years ago, whatever year that was. That did happen, yes. But you know, pound for pound, it's gonna be hard for me to realize, like, all right, I need y'all to actually show up and beat this team that's been beating y'all down for the last few years. I mean, they got Jordan Poyer now, so I mean, that's
I forgot about that. Oh,
I mean, that counts for something. You know, you come with you because I mean, again, he's been here for years, so you know the type of dog he is. So you know, you come with a different mindset and different level of intensity. You know, you would think that would rub off, but is that enough to really, you know, hold serve at home? And
don't forget about Saran Neal.
Yeah, it's just Saran Neal. I mean, a revenge game. You know, special teams guy. You know,
speaking of special teams, shout out to our kick returner for getting it popping.
Yeah, but also shout out to our kick coverage for
letting Jerome Bettis, you know what I mean, run that shit back.
DJ Dallas looked like Jerome Bettis, man.
Yeah.
That man, all of 5'10", 235 bowling ball last.
Yeah, they let that man.
It was a good return. What can I say?
It was, and I'm excited to see. I will.
That stadium got silent. I said, "Oh,
yeah." Nah, I listen. I was sitting in my seat, like, I mean, not sitting, but I was standing up, like, really, like, y'all just got to make the game tight for no reason. We up by 11.
That should have been cruise control from there on out.
Yeah, I'm like, really. So thank you, Bills, for giving us another moment to be stressed out, up 6 with less than a minute to go.
That was for the spread. That's what that was for, man.
That
was
for Vegas. I was sad about that. I picked that 6.5, and I'm looking at the scoreboard like.
Now you trying to do mental math, like, damn, what we got to do to get above this 6? You know, that was for Vegas.
That was for Vegas. It's all good. But moving along to, and we'll get into one last point too before we go into the prediction. We can only spend about 4 or 5 minutes on it because I don't like to hold people past an hour. Tyreek Hill situation, man. What's your quick thoughts on that whole situation with him getting arrested?
In my head, it seems like it seems like a lot for a traffic violation. I mean, I don't know if this type of cop interactions or the amount of cops is normal for Miami. Again, I don't let on there. I don't know, but that seems like a lot of cops and a lot of stuff for a simple traffic violation. Right. So it escalated quickly. It seemed a bit aggressive. I mean, it's unfortunate to see. I'm happy the ending worked out in a way that Tyreek Hill is still here and still alive. Sad that it has to be said, but shit, it is what it is. Shit is real life. Being a millionaire doesn't change the fact that you are a melanin man, and you will be treated as such. So, on camera or not, like it don't make no difference. I mean, to see pulled out the car, thrown on the ground for a traffic violation, like I said, on the side of a highway or a big road, it's just still crazy to me.
Knee to the back.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, shit.
Handcuffing the other teammates too.
For a traffic violation?
Walter Payton Man of the Year, Calais Campbell comes over. Hey, I just want to check on my friend. Yeah, you too. Watch your mouth. I'm going to arrest you too. You know what? Matter of fact, I'm in a bad mood already. Turn around. Hold on, fam. I'm
Right.
trying to check on my teammate. Nah, turn around though. Like that ass. Like you came over here. Now I gotta arrest you too. So yeah, I'll just get my quick thoughts on this because, like I said, we can go on and on about these situations. But obviously, you always hear comply. Roll down your window, do everything the right way, put your hands on the steering wheel. But that at the same time, we gotta just remember, like, this is also still another example of how we see power tripping on live camera, on camera, of using that power, abusing that power to go the extra mile when you don't have to. Was that worth taking him to jail? Because that's what the guy really wanted to do until he got that phone call. For people who don't know the backstory, all the footage is out there. If you want to check your angles and just make sure that you feel confident speaking about the situation, because one thing I do hate is if people speak about a situation where they might have only saw 7 seconds and they like, oh nah, but he ain't roll his window down, so fuck him, fuck the Dolphins. All right, cool. That's not you being real about the situation. But if you look at the situation, you watch the videos, it was a lot going on. But all in all, that should have just been a ticket to keep him over. But obviously the guy felt disrespected for whatever reason, didn't feel like Tyreek was really honoring his request past giving him a ticket or looking at his license or whatever the case may be. And he felt he wanted to take it the extra mile. He felt he wanted to tell him to get out the car. Hey, didn't like the way he was getting out the car, so he felt like he needed to slam him to the ground. Felt like they needed 3 or 4 guys. Felt like they needed to put his knee in his back. Doesn't need to be all that. And then when your friends check on you, your teammates check on you, you gotta aggressively tell them to get out the way or they're gonna get arrested. And then when they are calmly coming over to just make sure everything is good, you want to put them in handcuffs too. All right, it is what it is, but it's not. Because guess what? If that wasn't Tyreek Hill, as many have talked about, we've seen those traffic stops turn into death. We've seen those traffic stops turn into a night in jail over what? Over 60 miles per hour, because they found out it wasn't 100 miles per hour he was going. It wasn't, he was fucking drunk driving or nothing like that. This is a guy who was going 60. Maybe it was in a 45 lane, maybe 40. I don't know what it was. 50, I think it was. He was going 60. The guy wanted to go the extra mile. Then they got the word out it was Tyreek Hill. Then the phone calls came. Then it was, oh, nah, you can. All right, my bad. You can go. You go. Yeah, take him out of the handcuffs. But if that was me, that was you, probably would have been spending the night in jail. And I did it. Yeah, follow the rules, do this and that. We hear that all the time, but we also realize there have been times when people have followed the rules to the best of their ability and still have ended up murdered, still have ended up being thrown to the ground, still have dealt with a cop who just wanted to be an asshole. And this is not a message to say all cops are like this, but we have teenagers, both me and you have sons. This is something that they see and they automatically are like, God damn, like this is what they doing? Like, even when you got millions, even when you a celebrity, when you go into a game in 2 hours that you got to play in, this how they treating you? So I really got to say yes, ma'am, yes, sir, for everything, when they know the average person is not being that extremely polite. We've seen people on footage not be that polite to cops and still have been treated better. Everybody pretends you got to say yes, sir. You got hands on the wheel and you got to be perfect. Like, okay, you trying to stop. I'm trying to get to work. Like, please get this over. If you're going to give me a ticket, give me a ticket. And everybody is not always in that right mindset to just be the best version of themselves. Not trying to get Tyreek a pass, but like, there are going to be days you catch me, I'm trying to get to work. I'm like, oh, fam, can you please, sir? All right, everything good? Can I go? But you get them every once in a while. That's going to power trip. But like you said, all in all, glad that there was no serious injuries to Tyreek. Glad he was able to play and then score and then do the whole
celebration.
I thought that was funny because I always tell people this, and I'll move on. It's funny how we take trauma and we turn it into jokes and we make light of it because we have to. That's the only way sometimes we can move forward. We've seen that happen several times with our culture, with our people, with certain things that we deal with. We always we'll take a bad situation and try to twist it into something humorous, something funny to us, because that's the only way we can sometimes deal with it, to take away from how frustrated we are in that moment, because this is just hours before he was just in handcuffs. And for him to make light of it after that, that wasn't because he thought it was funny. That's literally him just saying, man, this is the best I can get y'all right now. Like, I got to smile through it because we smiled through so much pain. So
yeah, that's real.
Yeah. I mean, we'll leave it at that. Predictions. Any bold predictions that you got for this game, or if you don't have any bold predictions, where you see the score going?
From a prediction standpoint, none of my predictions hit last week. I think I said a Ray Davis and a Dawson Knox touchdown.
Okay.
We got a whole bunch of Josh Allen touchdowns,
Yeah, right.
Matt Collins and Shakir, but I'm sticking with my theme, man. I'm doubling down.
Uh-oh.
I'm going right back to the same one. Ray Davis touchdown, Dawson Knox touchdown.
I like it.
That's
If
what I'm
first
thinking.
you don't succeed, that's just so far from trying.
Listen, I'm rolling with this prediction until this shit hit.
Right.
So I'm going Ray Davis touchdown, Dawson Knox touchdown, parlay, baby. Prediction wise for the game, I'm going back and forth. Not necessarily who I think. I think the Bills are going to win the game, but I can't decide if I think this is going to be a high scoring game or not. Because I feel like the potential is there and has been that way for the last couple matchups. But it's early season, still knocking the rust off, short week where, Thursday games, generally are not as high scoring. Right. So, that kind of gives me a little bit of hesitation saying a high scoring game, but I'm going to lean towards the high scoring side. I think it's going to be 30 plus both teams. Woo. I'm going to go with a 38-31 Buffalo Bills victory.
38-31. Goddamn, shootout. All right. Plenty of shots to go around, huh? Yeah, so for me, bold prediction wise, I'll give two. I'll start with defense. I'll say I got a Rasul Douglas interception.
Okay, Rasul.
I think Rasul is very, very good at jumping routes, especially if you say, hey, check out for the first read, because he like to get the ball out. That's all Douglas territory right there.
Don't throw outside of them numbers late to him.
Yeah.
Douglas will jump right on that.
That's his game. Hopefully he don't take too many gambles, though, I must add, because we know, Tyreek and them boys, they can get behind.
Double move over the top, and that's 80.
Ooh-wee. And if the coach is doing his homework, he can catch him on that. But that's neither here nor there. I'll go with a Douglas interception, and I'll go with a 2-sack performance from Ed Oliver. I think that they will be prepared for Greg Rousseau. So I think that even though Greg Rousseau can definitely put together a dominant game again this week, I think that they will try to prepare for that on the edge. And I think that'd be a great opportunity for Daquan Jones and mostly Ed Oliver to say, you know what? If y'all going to double over there, y'all going to leave me one-on-one, I'm spin moving you all day and I'm in your face. So I think this would be a great opportunity for Ed Oliver to have a 2-sack performance. So that'd be my bold prediction on defense. On offense, though, man, oh man, it's a tough one for me, but I do feel like, I'm going to keep hammering it till it happens. I feel like this is going to be the Keon Coleman first touchdown game of the regular season for him and for his NFL career. We saw them after the big play last week go back to him in the red zone right after that, because they right now as a team, you could tell they salivating to get this guy his first touchdown. So I think it happens this week, and I think it happens natural. I don't think it'll be a force. It might be a little run after the catch or something when they get past the 50 or whatever the case may be. But I feel like this is a great game, especially with Jalen Ramsey. I'm hearing reports of his hamstring injury. So he may be tasked to be on Keon, or they may put Ramsey on Khalil. Whatever the case may be, I think Keon does get his first tutty of his NFL career. Prediction for the score, I was staying in the 20s for the reverse side of that, because off a short week, you can get some tiredness too. Yeah, you know what I mean? So I was going 24-20 Bills. I think a late fourth quarter push by the Bills will put them up by 4, challenging Miami to try to make a play towards the end, which we will ultimately shut down on defense. But I'm going 24-20 Buffalo. Like I said, short week, teams know each other. So I think that may make the defense play a little bit better on both sides. But I could easily see it going the other way with it being a shutout too. But I'm going to go 24-20 Buffalo, 1-score game. Definitely a lot of stressful moments for us Bills fans. But I think that when it's all said and done, when you got 17, there will be a play or two that he'll make that I think ultimately will carry the Bills over to get them started 2-0 in the season, which will be great music to all of our ears as we go into a 11-day break before the next game. So I got a 24-20 Buffalo. And now back to you on your lock of the week and your upset of the week.
Oh yeah. Let me see. See what we're working with.
For the people, because I damn near got to go back and see which one I had at the lock of the week. But I'm normally good with my lock, but
I'm not bringing last week up. I went over on everything.
sheesh.
My lock of the week was good. My upset ain't come through. But let me see what my lock of. You know what? I gotta go here. My lock of the week: Chargers over the Panthers.
Chargers over the Chargers. Okay, all right.
Yeah,
Say that out loud.
I have zero faith right now in Bryce Young until I see otherwise.
Okay.
Like they are just abysmal. Like I want to use like Stephen A. Smith language when it comes to unnecessary vernacular and vocabulary.
Yeah.
On how bad I think Carolina and mostly Bryce Young is.
Yeah.
But hopefully that changes because I don't want him to be a terrible quarterback. I like to see him succeed.
The league is better when we got more.
Yeah, agree, but he's terrible. That's my lock of the week. My upset of the week. Let me see what we're working with. Upset. I'm gonna go Cincinnati over the Chiefs.
Okay, I like it. That's a good upset right there because I don't know what the spread is, but after Cincinnati lost to New England, they definitely need one. So
yeah, again, terrible showing week one. Like terrible showing week one. But they should still be a good team. Higgins was out. Chase was on a bum leg.
Right.
So, if he's more healthy, if Higgins can come back, I think they can do some damage still. So I'm going Cincinnati over Kansas City as my upset pick of the week. And that is a 6-point spread right now.
Oh yeah. I might take that spread actually. I know I've been horrible with the spreads. I did a couple spreads. No, I actually did a pretty good job with the Monday night game, but yeah, all in all, my Sunday picks have been kind of doo-doo. So
yeah, biggest spread of the week is
I know we under by the way.
Baltimore 9.5 over Raiders. That's the biggest spread of the week.
Remember that Bills money line if you feel confident because we are underdogs. So
what is it? 3? That's last. Oh, 1. Oh, I'm saying 1.5 now. Damn, I was saying 3.
Yeah, but you know how it go. They I think they ruled out 1 or 2 of the running backs.
Yeah, Mostert was ruled out, and Achane they said going to be a game time decision. So, we'll see. I hope Achane don't play that.
I don't think he is on a short week. That'd be crazy. You know what I mean?
That's true. That's very true. Yeah.
But it is the Bills that they playing, so they might be like, nah.
Shit, short week 2. That's gonna be tough.
That's gonna be tough. But we'll see what they coaching staff do. For me, I'm gonna make my lock easy. I'm doing Baltimore over the Raiders. I just think that after what we saw last week, little gut wrencher that they took.
Baltimore can't go 0-2. They gotta have
0-2, and you just gotta take care of business at home. So, I think that's my lock. My upset, on the other hand, this is gonna be tough for me, but this will be tough. But I think I got 2 ways I can go with this. I think I'm gonna do Tennessee. I think Tennessee over the Jets. I think just for the theatrics, just for the NFL media to have fun with.
That would be hilarious. Side note, I don't know if I've ever seen a pick six worse than that one Will Levis.
Oh, Will Levis though, yeah,
bro, you can't write that meme gonna be forever.
Yeah, that's a forever ever. But I mean, Tennessee's still a well-coached team. They still got a lot of different players. Like I don't know how they gonna make it work, if it works, but they got players. It's just a matter of is Will Levis gonna be fucking
right?
It's gonna be something.
If you do shit like that, it's a wrap.
Yeah, but I see that game being a physical game. Obviously, you'll have Aaron Rodgers and those guys wanting to bounce back. But I mean, I just think from a comedy standpoint, from an entertainment standpoint, if Tennessee can pull that off,
what are your thoughts on the Jets? How you think they looked on Monday night?
Yeah, I mean, realistically, I felt like I knew it would come with some type of adjustment period, but at the same time, if you got Aaron Rodgers, you just feel like, hey, let me plug you in, let's get the show rolling. Because you didn't had the extra time to get yourself ready, but that first drive, okay, cool, we look like Jets rolling. But from a defensive standpoint, I think that was probably the bigger issue that most people had was like,
listen, that D line got bullied.
yeah,
Like,
you
they were
can't
getting pushed back and blown off the line all day. I said,
yeah, that wasn't a good look.
Yeah, they're supposed to be the big bad wolf. I mean, this has been a top-notch defensive team for years now. And granted, this is San Francisco, so we know we're talking about one of the best teams in the league. However, to get pushed off the line that much, that was a bit of a shock. I mean, and this is without McCaffrey.
And that's what I'm saying. So without McCaffrey, you had at least 3 of your all-pro guys playing. Quentin Williams was playing. Quincy Williams was playing. Sauce was out there for at least a half. He was out there.
He still played, I think, a good chunk of the game.
Yeah, you still had your top nickel in there. You had your number 2 corner in there. So, like, do you really got room for excuses? Because if anything, McDermott could have been like, I mean, we battered. We got
right. We down Milano, we down Johnson. But and listen, if Aaron Rodgers is moving like this is his normal movement and not just shaking the rust off, it's gonna be a wrap. This team is, I'm not gonna say they're gonna be terrible, but they're not a real threat from
8 to 9 wins.
A Super Bowl caliber team. If this is a level of mobility that he has, if this is his new normal, it's a wrap.
Yeah, and like I said, unfortunately, what we do is, as competitors, we see one of our fellow competitors pull it off, and we like, oh, I can do that too. You know what I mean? He saw Tom Brady at 43, won the Super Bowl, or whatever the case may be.
Like, none of that was coming off an Achilles tear, though.
But right, and that's the thing is, like, Rodgers got to be more mindful of his own body and listen to his body.
And there's 2 different style of quarterbacks, though.
They are
able to transition to an older version of himself because he was always a very good anticipatory thrower. Hit that back foot, the ball gone, and Aaron Rodgers lived off of making magic in the pocket, moving, making players miss, wreaking havoc once you get outside the pocket. And if you can't do that,
2 different styles. That's why I don't see, even to go to our quarterback, Josh, being a guy who plays till he's 40-something years old. Because by that time, Josh's body gonna be like, trying to let this go. So I see Josh probably playing till maybe 37. That's probably a good number for Josh.
Yeah. But I think this is a good segue to shut it down because we just rolling now. But shout out to Josh. He is 2 rushing touchdowns short of OJ Simpson's rushing touchdowns for the Bills, and we are 10 touchdowns away from Thurman Thomas. Like, this, to me, this is ridiculous. The fact that he has this many rushing touchdowns in this short of a time. He's played 95 games, and I believe, if I remember correctly, Thurman Thomas was 174 games to get to that. So you telling me you had the potential to break Thurman Thomas' rushing touchdown record this season, potentially?
Potentially, that's crazy.
Or next year at the most.
Yeah. Like, crazy. Like I said, Hall of Fame. Put him in there now.
He's about to own all the Bills records, just everything.
Yeah, all the offensive awards you might.
Everything short of receiving. He gonna own rushing. He gonna own rushing touchdowns, passing yards, passing touchdowns. Like, he's about to own everything.
We are watching the true. Like I said, we didn't know what it felt like to watch those guys in the 90s. We are getting spoiled right now with Josh Allen. So
they might as well enjoy seeing 17 now, because we'll never see anybody else in the 17 Bills jersey.
I know. We're gonna be telling our grandkids, years from now, like, man, we had this guy.
Man, number 17.
Man, different.
So this prepare to be the last time you see 17. Because ain't no other player ever wearing this for this team again, because he's about to break every record.
Take it in. But like you said, man, we went past our limits. So we appreciate you guys for tuning in. Like I said, this is going to drop on game day. So for those listening, enjoy the game.
Go Bills.
So, plug us in, listen to us ahead of the game. If it's 3-4 o'clock, or if it's early in the morning, sip your coffee, listen to us. We appreciate those who have liked our videos, have shared our videos, have seen us in person and just like, good shit, whatever. So just keep it coming. We got a long season. I know it goes by quickly, but we got a long season. So this is just part 1 of it. You know what I mean? Week 2, Dolphins week, rivalry week.
Switch the fish, baby. Listen, hey, man, I can't wait. Thursday night, this is the stretch of 3 straight night games in a row. We got Thursday night, we got Monday night, we got Sunday night. Let's start this shit off with a bang. Get the 2-0. Put Miami back in their place. Let them know Big Brother's still here.
Time to go fishing, baby.
Let's get it.
Time to go fishing, but y'all, this is Vel.
It's your boy Z. We'll catch y'all next week.
Peace. I believe if I get this right.